self-love reflection moment. It's never too late to change your mind. Meaning, there's a lot of us sometimes we'll find ourselves stuck in relationships or stuck in dead end friendships or stuck on that job, stuck in that career that's not meant for us because we think, oh, it's too late. We think that, oh, we can't change our mind, or we're too worrisome about maybe the fear or the embarrassment from walking away. But it's never too late to change your mind. It's never too late to realize, hey, maybe this is not aligned with who I am today. Maybe this is not working with the purpose that I'm trying to serve today. So don't be afraid to walk away. Anything that's not serving you, it's totally fine. It's okay to walk away. We can make a change at any time. As long as you're making movement upward, making movement for the betterment of yourself, it's never too late to change your mind. You can always say, hey, this is not working for me. This doesn't serve my purpose. I've grown, and this may have fit the old me. This may have fit the me in the past, but this does not serve the me of today. So it's never too late to change your mind, and it's never too late to walk away.
Hey, Queen. In this episode of the Key Chat, we sit down with Darcel Moreno, a renowned Louisiana casting director who has made a significant impact in the entertainment industry. Darcel opens up about her journey, sharing invaluable insights into maintaining mental health, practicing self-love, and growing professionally as a woman of color in a competitive field. Today, we also discuss the developments of 50 Cent's new studio and what he'll bring to the state of Louisiana and its potential impact on the local entertainment landscape.
She's a queen about a business, working hard on a mission, and her purpose-driven crown on never tilted. Go Queen. Go Queen. Go Queen.
So thank you guys for joining another episode of the Key Chat. Today, my very special guest is Miss Darcel Moreno. Darcel is a casting director, and she has worked with some amazing studios from BET to Lionsgate and so many more. We're going to have a great conversation regarding some different things that's going to be taking place in my home state, of course, of Louisiana. As we all know, 50 Cent is opening his new studio, which is going to be opening in a few weeks. So we're going to have a lot of questions on exactly what this means for the film industry and what this can do for our state and so much more. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm so
Thank
happy
you
to
for
talk with
having
you.
me.
Oh, thank you for giving us your time. I cannot wait to dive into our conversation. So, I wanted to start off first for you to give us your history and your background because I know you worked in casting and you worked with some great studios and great actors and things like that. So, can you give us just some background on how you got started in this field?
I initially never wanted to do anything with acting or casting. I always wanted to dance ballet, in which I did. I danced ballet professionally for several years. I always wanted to be on Broadway. Singing and dancing on Broadway, being an opera singer was one of the things that I wanted to do. And then I was working my 9 to 5, and someone came in and she was like, Zarcel, you're so bubbly, you're so funny. You need to get paid for your personality. And so she had told me about a local talent agent, and she introduced me to him. And my first audition, which was a film with Vivica Fox and Jessica Simpson, I auditioned for it and I booked it, and I've been working ever since. So, like, working as an actor and then kind of learning the ropes with my agent, that got me inspired into wanting to be a casting director, wanting to be a talent agent. And so I just kind of worked my way up. I watched the greats do what they do, and it just put me in this position.
Wow. So how long were you acting before you decided to, or did life kind of shift you into being a casting director and talent agent?
Well, so I was acting, I knew early on, being on set, being in front of the camera. I also loved the directors. I liked the people that were, empower the people that advocated for other people. That's something that I wanted to do. So it was kind of natural for me. And when I was at my agent, I would always watch him and ask questions, and he would always ask me my opinions on things. And it kind of just segued into me being an agent. When I worked for him, he taught me the ropes. He managed about 700 talent. And he was like, one day he was like, Darcel, I want you to run my agency. So he took off for about a month and a half. He moved to a different city. I ran his agency. He decided to close down. I took over his agency, and then that put me in the position to basically run Shreveport in that world. And then I started getting calls left and right, like, can you be a casting director? Huh, I never thought about doing that. And so then that put me in that position, and it just went on from there.
Now, for people that may not be aware, I want you to also just explain just some of the tasks, exactly what a casting director does, because I know obviously, and I could be mistaken, but I think that they're saying that they're going to actually be having a category for casting directors for the Academy Awards next year, which is great.
It is great because they need to be recognized because it is a lot of work. So basically, when the movies get everything together, they will hire a casting director, and this is the person that places the talent in the movies, the TV shows, the commercials, all of the things that you see. And it's an interesting task. So the casting director will reach out to agents. So in Louisiana, maybe there's, let's say, 20 agencies. If I'm the casting director, I will have a breakdown. The breakdown is pretty much a description of what we're looking for in a film. I will send those breakdowns to the talent agents. The agents will go down their roster and see who they have that fits that description. They will then submit those people to me. I will then look and see, okay, who's qualified? Who do I want to bring in for an audition? I will bring those people in for an audition, maybe 50 people. After those 50 people audition, then I'll narrow it down to who were the best. So maybe out of the 50, there were 10. After those 10, I'll invite the director of the project. The director will come out, those 10 people will come in, and that's how we decide who gets placed in the film.
And you know, the thing about it, I think sometimes people may not realize how important that job is. If we think about maybe some of our favorite TV shows, our favorite movies, there are some roles that you can't see anyone else in that role.
In that, yes.
Right. And then there's some instances sometimes you may hear an interview from an actor or maybe a documentary, and they'll break down, okay, well, this role could have also went to this particular actor. And sometimes you're like, okay, I can see that. And sometimes you're like, no, I can't see
Yes, right.
So it's definitely very important. What have been some, if you can tell us, some notable castings that you've been involved in?
Oh my goodness. I've casted Pizza Hut. I was a casting associate on Solange Don't Touch My Hair, that music video that is world renowned. I did casting for a Grammy nominated video, Wood Kid. There's just so much more in Shreveport and Louisiana in a whole. I think I've employed well over 500 actors, models, and stunt performers. So we take up space and we enjoy doing it.
Wow. Now, of course, like I said, I'm a Louisiana native as well.
Yes.
And like with movies, I don't think a lot of people maybe realize Louisiana so much. I think obviously they film a lot. Different shows have been set in Louisiana and they've been filmed here. But I really think now, of course, with this whole big, wonderful thing that 50 Cent is doing and maybe putting Shreveport more on the map, and definitely it'll be great for Louisiana as a whole. What are just some of the notable things that have taken place in Louisiana that we may not be aware of? Is Louisiana really a state, do you think, a lot of people may think of when it comes to the film industry?
Well, Louisiana is a big mover and shaker in the industry. At one point, we were number 2 in the United States to produce movies or productions in general. I think right now we're maybe on 3 or 4, but hopefully with the help of 50 Cent, we can push back into that leading spot. They've done some amazing things, and hopefully we can just bring that back with the interest 50 bringing his projects. There's so many more people that are coming in, so much more productions that will come in. And then he has that studio that everyone can shoot at if need be.
Mm. That's great. I just think it's a wonderful thing. And I mean, as we know, he's been doing so many different projects for such a long time. So I just think it's
Mhm.
just exciting what's about to take place for Louisiana. I think it's going to be great. So I want to ask you as well, what are just some different careers? Like, for example, I know like with Tubi, things like that, there have been a lot of, well, independent filmmakers for sure that are doing their own movies and things like that. And I know a lot of people do have a lot of interest in making their own films. And there's some opportunities I feel that are being open for people who generally may not have had those opportunities in the past.
Mhm.
What are some different things that people, if they have an interest, you know, in movies and films, but they may not necessarily want to be an actor? Obviously, you are showing there are different things that you can do as a casting director, things like that. What are some, if there's any things that you can suggest for someone that if they want to get some knowledge in filmmaking or just the whole process, what are some things that they can do to maybe get their feet wet and walk in, you know, in the background and just learn different things?
The great thing about filmmaking is you don't have to be an actor. There are so many different things you can do. If you love to do hair, you can work in the hair department. There's opportunities for that, opportunities for makeup artists. If you are a nurse, set medic, consider being a set medic and being on set. If you love decorating spaces, there's set decorator, there's prop masters. There are so many different opportunities. Food trucks, location scouts. There are so many different things that you can do. And then you need to get on these local sites that offer those things. You can put your information, your resumes, your headshots, and get listed. And then take advantage of being an extra. Just go in when they have those castings. It's really, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Being an extra is an easy thing to do. You'll just sign up, and that way you can learn the set terminology, set etiquette, and then just go from there and then kind of decide where you want to be in the industry.
Mm. That's some very good information because I just love just seeing all the new things that are coming out. I know people have mixed feelings about Tubi in particular, but I just think it's cool just seeing how many people are at least making things.
You're right. Right, right.
I just think there's nothing wrong in just, hey, if you have an interest in making a film or making a short story, just go ahead and do it. Like there's no reason to be held back. And I also wanted to ask you just about the whole Tubi thing. I know people have mixed feelings about it. I've definitely read
Uh,
different things. Some people say it's kind of bordering on black exploitation. It's just so many different mixed things that I've heard about it. You know, what is your opinion? And not necessarily, like I said, I don't want to say anything negative about it. Like I
mhm.
just feel that it's still an opening for people to make things and create things. So what's your thoughts on it?
You know what? I love it. I think that people should live life on their own terms. So if you want to create a film or a project, do that because you're here for you. So you do what you need to do to make your dreams come true, and everybody should support that and respect that.
Mhm. Right, I definitely agree. So I want to go back to asking you some things about your field with casting. What are some things that people can look at to be successful when they're going opening for a casting call? Like they see this role and they're like, hey, you know, I think I'll try out for it. Are there any particular things that a person should be aware of to just make themselves maybe stand out more so that they can get looked at for a particular role?
Okay, so for the first thing is first, if you want to audition for a film, a movie, a TV show, you must have an agent or a manager. There are no real legitimate agent castings that are taking in people, just random people. You have to have representation because those managers, those agents are going to put you in front of the right people. It cuts out the scams or the middleman. So first things first, get that agent. And how you would do that, you would go on websites, you would look for your local agents, and then they have maybe a day for casting, or they may have a thing where you submit your resume and headshot. So that's the first thing. If you want to be an extra, you basically just have your professional headshots and you go in. Um, And so that's just what it is. And what we look for once you have your headshots together, once you're ready to pursue an agent, different agents have different requirements, but it's just knowing what you're capable of doing, knowing that you can perform this kind of character, or you can do a certain thing. We want people who stand out, who are confident, who are professional, and who have the drive and the determination to get to where they want to be.
Mm. Now, I want to ask you too, because I know, like, I hear a lot of people mention things about finding an agent and things like
Mhm.
that. I know you mentioned scams. Are there any particular things a person should look out for so that they maybe say, okay, well, this may not necessarily be legitimate as far as trying to find a good agent, one that looks out for their interests, just to make sure that they aren't scammed or anything?
Well, when it's if it's too good to be true, then it's probably untrue. And then you need to go to someone who has real credentials, that someone knows something about. The website is a tell-all. If you are doing real work, someone knows about it, and it needs to be something that you can search. So that's my thing. Just look for the websites, look for the credentials, and it'll be safe that way.
Hmm. Now, I want to go back to 50 Cent Studio. What are some things that you think will end up happening for the city? Like, do you think that's going to be an opportunity for more major motion pictures? I know he works with stars a lot. Like, what do you think this will do for Louisiana?
I think it would grow the economy in a major way. Like I said before, there will be opportunities for everyone, even with not even the film thing right now. He's bringing in some sort of festival, so that's creating, like, it's bringing revenue. And so we're looking for him to grow the city. There will be other productions that come into the city. We're getting calls right now for different castings, that I can't exactly speak about. So it's growing the city in a major way. It's going to bring a lot of publicity, a lot of jobs. And that's what we want. We want someone to come back and make Louisiana boom like it once did.
Right. I just think it's amazing. I was surprised. I was like, oh wow, he's coming to Louisiana. I just think it's
Yeah.
great. And I know he is having this huge festival that's coming soon. He has so many people that's coming. It's gonna be really great for sure. So I
He
want
is definitely a class act. I've worked with 50 before in a couple of other projects when he was in Shreveport. Previously, I worked on his film, and then I worked on his music video. And he was a joy then, and I expect nothing but greatness. You know.
Yeah. But one thing for sure, he'll definitely bring revenue because he just seems like the type of person where he's pretty clear cut and honest that he wants
Yeah.
people paid and paid fairly. And he always, from what I've seen, especially with the actors that's worked with him on Stars, that he makes a point to say that they're getting paid properly. So I just think it's a great thing. Anything that brings revenue to any area.
Right. And then on the other side of it, with the job opportunities, it brings diversity, it brings inclusion. And that's one of the reasons why I started the agency as my agency as well, because I saw that there wasn't people that look like me that were talented, just more than talented than I am, and that we're not getting opportunities. And so with this coming, knowing the films and the productions that he manages, it's like a win-win situation. So I'm very happy.
Yes, I think it's gonna be amazing for sure. So I want to ask you as well. I know, like you said, you acted. Do you prefer to ever get in front of the camera again, or would you prefer to just stick with what you're doing now?
You know what? It just depends. I love them both, but I love making people's dreams come true. I really like. There is no greater feeling than seeing a contract come to my email and then me calling my talent on the phone and saying, "Oh, guess what?" And then hearing them scream or hearing them cry, and that just means the world to me. So I don't know, because they're both rewarding.
Hmm. That's amazing. So I want to ask you as well, just being a woman of color, being in this industry, how does that feel? Because you're doing something really important as far as I'm concerned. Just seeing us on film is something
Yeah.
that I feel like even now is something not to take lightly. You
Right.
know, know, when I grew up as a younger person, just seeing movies that had us in it, you just were more
Mm.
excited. And I just feel like that has never gone away. Like there's still so much excitement when there's a show that's featuring us or a movie that's featuring us. It's just a feeling that we get like, oh wow, this is something created for us. So how special is it the role that you have? Because like I said, you're doing something great. You're bringing stories for us on film. So how does that responsibility feel with what you're doing?
It feels so good because I too like grew up watching like different shows. I love Jasmine Guy. I
Mhm.
always wanted to be Whitley, you know, and so me get being given afforded an opportunity. Now I have the power to, you know, help people get it. It's no greater feeling, especially in today's climate. So knowing that I can help people that look like me, people who look like my husband, my children, put them on, I love it. And again, knowing my background and knowing others' backgrounds and then making their dreams come true, there's no greater space to be in.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Are there any challenges being a woman of color in this industry?
It has. Initially, when I first started as a casting director, as a talent agent, initially my talent were not being seen. And I knew, you know, how you know that there's something, but you can't quite put your finger on it. And that's what it was. And I persisted. I even got strategic and put this one talent with another agency who was a friend of mine. And he booked straight off. So it proved to me what it was. It wasn't his talent, it wasn't my talent, it was my skin color. And so I persisted, and a great casting director, I won't mention his name, but he is one of the best casting directors in Louisiana. He took a chance on me. And when he did, and when he vouched for my name, the world changed.
Wow.
And so I'm forever indebted to him. And yeah, and I'm going to keep on and I'm going to keep pushing.
Mm. What advice would you have for people breaking into the industry? Just because I mean, it's obvious that there's challenges that people of color experience in Hollywood. I mean, even Taraji P Henson, who's been in this business for how long?
Yeah.
She's vocal about a lot of different things last year during the Color Purple production. What
Mhm.
encouragement do you have for people to on how basically, I guess, to navigate those challenges and to not allow those challenges to deter them to give up on this career?
Well, I'm big on my ancestors, right? I am big on my faith. I'm big on manifestations. We can get through it. We're resilient people. So whatever you want to do, it's not up for anybody to tell you no. You know, you can make it. You just keep going. You network with the right people. And then I also want people who are actors, who are performers. Your no is just a right now situation. That no will be a yes at a later date. I can't tell you how many times I've been in a casting session as an actor and doing the role and not hearing anything. And then I get in a room and they say, Darcel, in a casting, Darcel, we'll see you on set. Or Darcel, I've been wanting to book you. I just hadn't had the right job for you. We were waiting to book you, and now you're here. So just keep going. Keep, you know, stay to the grind and keep focused, and you will get there.
I love that because I say that all the time on this show. That no is just navigation. It's
Yes.
just because it's not right now, it doesn't mean that it's the end of the road.
Right.
Everything is alignment. And I think that's something that it's hard for people to process sometimes because we just live in a world of yes. But that no is still as valuable as the yes because if it's not for you right now, it's still a blessing. And
Right.
it leads you to something greater sometimes. And I think that's just the thing that I think there's a fine line between people pushing and giving up. And it's just those simple two words, a no. Sometimes that they'll get that no and they're just devastated. And when
Yeah.
It's just steering you towards your alignment. It's just nothing short of navigation. It's just navigating you to where you need to be. So I want to ask you as well, on our platform, we do talk about mental health and self love.
Yes.
Some things that you practice for mental health wellness just to stay strong? I know you mentioned your faith and believing in your ancestors and manifestation. So, what are some of the things that you practice for your mental health and your well being?
Well, in the mornings, I always tell God and my ancestors, thank you. And then I say thank you to me. Thank you, Darcel. Thank you to, I'm thanking my higher self. I'm thanking my future generation, you know. And then I do my mantras, you know, I am great. I am powerful. I am respected. I do my little thing. And then I just go out and I am to other people who I want someone to be to me, and that keeps me going. My husband and my two boys, they keep me going, and I know that I'm through this journey. I'm doing it for my generation to come. You know.
Right. I love it. I love it. Also, on our platform, self love is something that is truly important for us. Self love is the fuel to have that confidence, to believe in yourself, and that fuel to break barriers. So, what is your definition of self love? And also, what role has it played in your life?
Self love. I mean, you know, my self love can look different. If I just want to break and drink coffee, if I am just dealing with my plants, if I'm dedicating 10 minutes of complete silence, that's my self love. If I am nurturing someone and speaking life into them, that's my self love because it's good for me and it's good for them. And it's played a huge role in my career because in this industry, you get so many people who want and take and take. So just I think just taking those moments and staying present in the moment and grounded in who you are, I have to have that because this industry is something else.
Yeah, hmm I can imagine. I want to ask you too, just for women in general, just in this industry. Like I said, I know like last year, Taraji kind of creaked the door open, and there were all these different conversations about women of color maybe not getting paid properly, things like
Mhm.
that. Is there any way, I guess, for young women of color or just actresses of color in general to, I guess, be in this industry and be treated fairly, to be seen, to be heard? Like, is that even possible? Because I think it was just kind of shocking because she had been in the industry for so long and she was listing all these, different grievances and things like that. Like, I guess would say, what place is there for us in this industry, I guess, so we don't feel that way?
You know what? Here's the thing. Taraji isn't saying anything new. This has always happened. And Baldwin said something to the effect of, to be a Negro in this country and to be relatively conscious is to be insane or enraged almost all of the time. It is very true. I knew early on, because my grandmother was an activist and I'm an activist, I knew early on going into it what kind of, uh, what it was. Um, and it's almost hard to tell new talent or someone that's not a celebrity to speak up, because if you speak up, there is something always on your back. You can be blackballed. So it's really hard to tell new people, new talent, or fresh faces to stand up for themselves. That's why it's important for everyone, if they see something, to say something. You don't have to be African American, you don't have to be of color to say something. Um, do I think it will change? Not until we all make the change. I, for one, I'm known to be outspoken. I'm known to advocate for my talents. Um, so I again, it's nothing new. And we all have a place in this industry, and we all need to let our voices be heard.
I love it. I love
And,
it.
and then too,
Mhm.
I think we need to stop selling ourselves short, stop working for less than, because a lot of people just want the opportunity, so they may say, oh, I'll do it for this price, or I'll do it for a little bit less. That's how we cheat ourselves. We're worth it, and I'm worth it, and I want to get paid for it.
Mm, I love it. I love it. And I
Mhm.
definitely love the James Baldwin quote for sure. I just think that there's so much room for us. There's so many hungry people, talented people. And
Yeah.
I just, I think it just was kind of sad when she was saying those things. And of course, we have heard it in the past. I've heard Viola Davis say things like that. So I just was curious on your opinion with that because I just really, really, really hope there's a day where maybe some seasoned actresses they finally get their just due, and that way it will help the new people coming in
Yeah.
after. So
I
that's what it's all about.
I too have had an experience or experiences on sets, and it is very disheartening. But I'm happy that they spoke about it.
Hmm. Definitely. What are some things that we can look forward to, I guess, with new movies, things like that? I know that I feel like there was a stage where I guess the drug culture was kind of popular on film, things like that. And I know that there's people who, just like with Quentin Brunson, people who are doing things different to just bring different stories to film. Is there anything that we can look forward to that's just different, something fresh, something brand new that we can look forward to?
Well, there's some things that are coming down the pipeline in Louisiana that I'm not able to speak on, but I'll say this. I think the new talent, I think we'll see an influx of people headed in our direction. I think people need to be prepared. So if they need to refresh their headshots, if they need to refresh their reels, if they need to get into some acting classes, I think that they need to be doing so and getting ready.
Wow, that's great. I love it, love it, love to hear it. So definitely tell us. This has been a great conversation. I've loved talking to you. And
Yes.
I'm excited on what's about to happen with Louisiana and of course 50 and all these different things coming up. Can you tell everybody where they can find you, how they can reach out, how they can learn more?
Yes, if you have to email me, it's info@darcelmoreno.com, or you can visit my website, darcelmoreno.com. I am on social, on Facebook at Darcel Moreno Talent. So yeah, and then just check the website for future updates, castings, and all of the buzz.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. And
You're
if you
welcome.
can
Thank
possibly,
you.
could you possibly leave us with an affirmation before we end everything?
Um, I am respected. I am bold. I am favored. Every room I walk into, I am received and I am loved.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Thank you so much again
Thank
for
you.
I've just truly enjoyed this conversation and
Yeah.
I'm excited again. I can't express it enough how excited I am. It's one thing to just love the whole process of new projects, but there's a special feeling, of course, when it's coming from your hometown. So
Yes.
thank you
Yes.
all for all the great things that you're doing, of course, to put Louisiana on the map. And not just Louisiana, but all the talented people in Louisiana that deserve.
Yes. I look forward to showing us off live and in color.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So
No problem.
thank you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation with Darcel. And don't forget, just to remember, no matter what room you step into, you are meant to be in that room. So make sure you carry that confidence with you no matter where you go. So thank you guys for tuning in to the Q Chat. You can catch this episode and more www.goqueen.com. Make sure you stay safe and be loved and make sure you go love yourself.
She's a queen.